All right, I promised you at the beginning we're going to talk a little bit about tenant-landlord contracts. And a lot of people are just starting out in real estate investing, and they don't pay as much attention to this as they should. Okay, for the most part, most contracts by mom and pop investors are not detailed enough. That contract needs to take into account all of the laws in your local area. Okay, you can't just use a generic one that you printed out of a book or you printed off online or whatever that applies to another state. You need to have a contract that applies to your state and local area because landlord law is very local and you have to follow it. Your contract needs to follow every bit of landlord law. If you're required to give somebody, 60 days after they stop paying before you can evict them, you need to give them 60 days. If you're required to give them written notice, you need to make sure you give them written notice. So, what the contract is it spells out exactly how this relationship is going to work and what is going to happen in the event that they don't pay, in the event that the house or something in the house breaks, in the event that whatever happens. It needs to spell all those things out and say exactly what is going to happen, what your responsibilities are as the landlord, what their responsibilities are as the tenant. Okay. And you need to explain this contract to them when you rent out the place in the beginning, that this is the way things are going to work. Okay. Very clear, fair, but clear. And then once you have this fair contract in place, you enforce it strictly. Okay. If the contract says, if they haven't paid their rent by the 10th of the month, you're going to begin eviction proceedings on the 10th of the month, give them the written notice and start those proceedings, right? Whatever the contract says, that's what you need to follow. That is fair. That is treating them well. You are not being a slumlord by enforcing the contract that they signed voluntarily. That is a fair contract that follows all applicable laws. But if you do not put these sorts of contracts into place, you're going to have a miserable time as a landlord. You're not going to be successful in your real estate investing. It's going to be a curse in your life and not a blessing. It is going to make you miserable. Okay? So you need to have strong contracts in place that are legal, that are very clear, and that have been well explained to the tenant. And then you need to keep up your part. Right? If the tenant calls you and the dishwasher's not working, you need to get somebody in there to fix the dishwasher in the next couple of days. Right? It's not okay to leave, a mold all up and down the bathroom, right? Just like it's not okay for them to not clean the lint out of the dryer, and cause a dryer fire or cause a machine to wear out early. Just like it's, whoever's responsibility it is to take care of the landscaping needs to be taken care of, right? So work all those things out in the contract and then follow it strictly and expect them to do the same. If they won't, get them out of there. Okay? There are plenty of great tenants out there. You don't need to deal with a crummy one. Okay? Charge market rents, and you will get a good tenant in there when you have to evict somebody. Charging more than the market rent, it may sit empty for a long time. So charge market rents. Raise your rents if they're too low, lower your rents if they're too high, charge the fair price that's going in your area.
The hosts of The White Coat Investor are not licensed accountants, attorneys, or financial advisors. This podcast is for your entertainment and information only. It should not be considered professional or personalized financial advice. You should consult the appropriate professional for specific advice relating to your situation.